It's that time of year again, folks, and if you're like me, you have an liberal in-law somewhere, and no matter what truce or political ceasefire you call before the booze starts flowing, it's about as binding as a human rights letter to China. But when it comes to arguing with the family, the most important thing to remember is you must win the argument at all costs. Do not be deterred by your spouse telling you to calm down. You must prevail on the world stage because only you have 30 days until the next round at Christmas. But there are some key tenets to your strategy you must keep in mind. It's not like arguing with some rando on Twitter. No. You're arguing on the stage of the most judgmental jury of your life, where the table becomes your octagon. One false move could sentence you to the dishes, a walk, or even a dreaded crossed arms from your wife, and stink eye too. So keep this in mind. The goal is not necessarily to dissuade the person you're arguing with, but rather win over the rest of the family while alienating that person, making them seem like the irrational enemy. Well, you're just the model of decorum. There is something you need to know, though, and I have learned this the hard way after battling many years in the Coliseum of holiday dinners. It's highly unlikely that you're ever going to convince a liberal, especially one that is a family member, to think any way other than the way they do. That's why they're liberals in the first place. They think they know absolutely everything. But the single tactic you must employ for this is ask questions. Do not attempt to assert knowledge or logic, at least at first, and I'll tell you why. The only way I've ever seen to be able to change a liberal's mind is to ask them a question and force them to realize on their own that what they're doing. Here's an example. Inevitably, Trump will come up, especially when I break out 3 bottles of his wine, and the liberal go-to is, how could you vote for such a horrible person? He was the worst president ever. Remember the question theory. Don't pepper them one at a time. Hold them to the answer. Really? Well, what did you hate most about Trump? This will garner some kind of snarky return. Oh, do I really have to list all the reasons? Yes. Now, feel free to be a bit snarky, but remember, only enough to make them angry. Don't come off like a jerk. Remember, every liberal thinks they're smarter than you and I. They're going to use big words and run-on sentences to cloud the issue. Anything to avoid the actual content of the discussion. Again, if they continue to obfuscate the original question, bring it back, follow up. Well, you still haven't told me, so what's so great about Biden? There will be more generic answers from them. Hold them to the specifics. You and I both know that there is nothing great about Joe Biden. But be ready to ask the same exact question multiple times. Also, be ready. Anytime you make a point, they will turn on the merits of the debate and make it emotional. That's what they do. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to know everything, but you do have to have specific knowledge that is irrefutable. Just keep the conversation in that lane. Gas prices, food prices, mortgage rates, inflation, all low-hanging fruit that they numerically have no logical answers to. But no matter what the facts are, a devout liberal will cycle the following playbook, whether they know it or not. It's almost like it's programmed into them somehow. First, when they can't give a specific answer and they know it, they'll insult you. Usually goes something like this. Oh, you and the rest of the racists that support him. And this goes great at the table towards you winning an argument because all you have to do is point out that you're just trying to have a civil conversation. This goes towards you winning the crowd. And you can circle back to your specifics. Well, why do you think Trump is so racist then if you believe that? Well, he called neo-Nazis very fine people. Ask them to finish the quote. They can't. This is why I consider myself a general in the family argument wars. And naturally, have this one saved in my favorites on my YouTube account. Now, your liberal in-laws, they don't know this exists because CNN has never played it. This is all they've ever seen.
You had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
And this is where I whip out my iPhone and explain to them that was, while they cut him off mid-sentence by a reporter, this was the second half of that quote.
You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
Oh, when they are faced with this, they'll either become very, very angry or change the subject. But again, hold them to the topic.